You ready? You ready?
I think everybody's ready.
Oh my God, it worked, hopefully.
Cool.
Okay, so let's talk about live a little bit. So as Daniela was mentioning, I was a creative strategist back in the day. Sorry, I was a creator back in the day. So back in 2007, and like what was so interesting about being a creator back then was that everyone was always saying, "Oh man, I wish I'd started in 2006." You know, that was when the golden days were. And now in 2007, you know, no one can succeed on YouTube. It's too crowded, and like this language might be familiar to you. This is not something new. This is not something that people haven't. This is something that people keep saying. So I'll tell you right now, this is the golden age of live streaming. You know, this is like the 2007. There has never, ever been a better time to jump on board with live streaming because everybody is still figuring stuff out. So as I said, my name's Ali. I've been doing this a long time. I rocked the floppy YouTuber hair back in the day. I was a creator back when the subscribe button was orange and the links were in the sidebar instead of in the down bar. But I pretty quickly realized that I preferred working on bigger projects. So I collaborated with a guy named Tim H to produce something called Project Library, which was an action comedy web series. But more relevant to today, I also was a co-producer on something called Stickade, which was a live streaming variety show, which lasted 24 hours without stopping.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of like 24 hours without stopping is something that like is very, very illegal, by the way. We worked a crew of 100 students to do that. Yeah, it was kind of insane. So at about 3 in the morning, your brain starts to go a little bit.
Don't do this at home.
Well, the cool thing is you don't have to work a crew of 100 people now to do that kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, and that was back in 2011 when live streaming was only available to a few partners. And speaking of a few partners, so my claim to fame is that I've been to every single VidCon so far. So funny because last year I was a speaker, so I had all this inside access, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. So I went to all these dinner parties, and you know, last time they put me between. So Rhett and Link were on one side of me, and then Anna O'Connor was on the other side of me, and I was sitting there going, I took a picture pretending to be an eagle with you guys on my first VidCon, and I'm hoping you don't remember. La 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 la. But what's been cool about working on live is that we've been having conversations with a lot of these top creators, you know, the biggest of the big people, and helping them figure it out, learning from them, us learning, you know, so it's really, really exciting. And that brings me to my point. So we built this deck with interviews with creators, but we also did it with kind of practical knowledge. So we've gone live a bunch of times. I can show you some of the gear later on. We've really been trying to learn as much as possible. So if you guys have tips that you think that that I've missed, I would love to hear them, because that's really how we make these things better. These are the things that we're going to run through. Daniela kind of mentioned it before, and then we'll take questions at the end. Yeah. Okay, so first let's tell some stories about live streaming. So a little history. We've been offering live streaming on YouTube since 2011, before it was cool. So you might remember millions of people tuning around the world, tuning in to watch the royal wedding in 2011. A fun stat that we like to talk about sometimes is that 1/6 of the internet watched the Red Bull Stratus jump. That was in 2012.
Who remembers that, huh? Probably everyone here.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And then last year, we became the first ever to broadcast a 360-degree live stream, and that was during Coachella. So now from the creator side, because you might be thinking, well, royal wedding, Red Bull, those things don't relate to me. So a little more recently, we've been really getting into mobile live streaming. So this was in August 2016 when Alex Wasabi started streaming weekly from his phone. And through kind of smart creative strategy, you guys might recognize him from the video that's on the Creator Academy. And through smart creative strategy, he experienced both high peak concurrence and really high VOD views as well. So in other words, the views on his normal videos that were uploaded after the live streams, or replays, if you want to call them that, were matching his normal uploads. And what he said to us was, I'm really starting to love these Wasabi Wednesday live streams. It gives me a break day on vlogging, and I get to spend some unedited real moments with you guys. And so after 2 months of us working with him, Alex announced that he was converting his vlog channel into a live channel. And said, live is my main thing now. There are several other platforms doing live, but YouTube is where my audience is, and I want to grow it here. So when we were at VidCon, So this is the Young Turks, and the Young Turks have been doing live on YouTube for forever, and so we were super excited to work with them on mobile live, and they came up with an interesting use case when we were at VidCon with them. Basically, I was at VidCon, and we were all at a party when Brexit was announced.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really depressing. It was just one of those things where it was like, oh, okay. And it was great because every American suddenly wanted to talk to you about it. So yeah, anyway, so while I was, drinking away my sorrows, these guys are actually doing something useful. So they snuck out with a camera operator and they filmed this short live stream. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long. And they basically said, Brexit's happened. This is what we know so far. And the stream, did okay for peak concurrence. But the thing that was interesting is that it gained 500,000 views in the first 48 hours after upload, which is crazy for their channel. And it was because the video had immediately gone to the first page of the search results for the Brexit search term. So it was a huge thing. And then finally, Unbox Therapy is another person. He has this live stream format, which is amazing. He calls it Call Me Now 647-403-3436, which is his phone number, or at least a phone number that he uses. And it was this incredibly unpredictable live format and created this new closeness with the audience of Unbox Therapy.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, it's a super cool stream.
Is that one of your favorite streams?
Oh no, I mean maybe, but I have so many favorites. I've watched entirely too many live streams at this point that I have lists and lists and lists of my favorites. We just saw one today. I was just showing Selby earlier, which is just a guy gets a super chat and then he's so excited about that he just jumps in the water and then they catch a fish like a second afterwards. It's crazy. Yeah. So okay. So that was kind of stories about live. So let me just give you a quick look at what the product looks like. So this is the slide, but and I'll go through the slide just in case you can't see it, and then I'll give you an actual demo of what it looks like. So you select the camera button, you select go live, you can create a title. There are all sorts of advanced things. You can set some age restrictions. You can flag it as paid placement. All the same stuff that you can do on your normal VODs. Then you take a picture for your thumbnail. It doesn't have to be a selfie. You can take it either way. And then you can share it on social media and go live. And then during your live, you can see right now. The green thing there is a super chat message, and we'll talk a little bit more about those later. And then finally, you can finish the stream, and then you can see all the metrics. But what we thought we'd do is we thought we'd just show you. So I'll
turn on our really cool.
Yeah. We have a light. It was just burning my eyes, so I turned it off when you guys couldn't see me.
Let's go live. Let's do it.
We'll talk about how important lighting is later. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, the key thing to know about live, and the thing I think is really cool about the mobile live thing, is that you don't need any other app to go live. You can just go live right from the main YouTube app. So the way you do that is you tap this button on the bottom right hand corner. If you're on iOS, it's in the top right hand corner, but it still looks like a camera.
It's a camera.
Then you get to this screen, and on this screen you just tap go live, and then you see this, and you get to write a title. So my title is going to be
going live, doing a live stream.
Woo, live Inception. Okay, cool. And then because I'm feeling pretty good, I'm going to add an emoji, which you can do also. So I'm going to set it as unlisted just because I don't want my 6,000 subscribers. I'm so famous. I don't want my 6,000 subscribers to watch this. They can watch this if they want. I did tweet it up. And then I smile for a thumbnail. And then you'll see this screen which says uploading thumbnail. We upload the thumbnail and it's already uploaded.
That was good.
Yeah. And then you see this. There's this button that right now says shared, which you just tap to share, and then it will bring up all the possible places that you could potentially share it. I won't share it right now. And then if you want to stream in portrait, you can stream like this. If you want to stream in landscape, you stream like that. The only thing to know about that is that right now, if you you can't change that during the stream. So I'm going to stream in portrait. I'm happy with that. And I have to stick to that decision. So if your audience are in the chat going, hey, stream in landscape, I'm watching on a desktop, you're just going to have to go, lol, no. So it's just something to know about. And
we're actually going to cover after how you can actually test the live stream before you actually go live. So we'll cover that question after.
Yeah, totally. And then you just tap, you get this button, and you just tap go live.
Yep.
And then you wait. So this, what it's doing here is it's creating several different, it's called transcoding, and it's creating several different versions of your stream so that basically anyone can watch in qualities. So the people who have the best connection will watch in 720, and the people who have not great connections will watch like it was filmed on a potato.
There we are.
And there we are, yeah. So there's some metrics on there. You can see how many people liked it. You can see how many people are viewing it. Right now it's 0. You know, you can see all the things. So yeah. And then when you're finished, you tap finish. And then it says, are you sure? And I go, yes. And then, drum roll, we will get all the fancy metrics. And as you can see, so famous, guys. So famous. And then you just hit done. And then if you want, it'll take you right to your video manager. And then if you want to, so you can see that the video is tagged as uploading. And that's because, or processing rather. And basically what that means is it's uploading the video to my channel. And if I didn't want it, so I don't really care about this video, for example, I'm just going to click cancel upload. Yes, because I don't really care about it. And you can do the exact same thing. Yeah. So that's basically the...
And otherwise it will be stored as VOD.
Otherwise it will be stored as a VOD. You can choose if you want it or not. Cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Let's go.
If I look to the left, guys, it's just because I'm starting to read your questions, and I'm excited to see that there is some commonalities on some of the questions that you're asking. So we will be covering them soon. I think presentation-wise will be another 15 minutes or so, then we'll go into live questions. All right.
All right. So that was Mobile Live. This is Super Chat. It's a little, it's related to Mobile Live. It's basically, it's a digital purchase that viewers can make during live streams that makes their comments stand out. It's available in 21 countries for creators and 41 viewer countries.
I think he knows them by heart, right? The 21 countries.
No, I definitely don't. And it stresses me out every time someone's like, is it available in Brazil? And I'm like, oh no. But you can check out it's on the Help Center exactly which countries it's live in. So if you're watching from somewhere that isn't, I know it's in the UK and the US.
So it's difficult. 21 countries. It's quite a lot.
21 countries. If it was 6, I'd be able to do it. But you know, they launched it in so many countries. Okay. So this is how it works for a viewer. I would say if you're at all thinking about streaming, get the feeling of what it's like as a viewer. To do this. So go on to whoever your favorite creator is, or just anyone who's live streaming, and buy a super chat. Just because I know when I did it my first time, I was like, oh wow, this was actually like I was expecting it to feel kind of hollow, but it was actually really exciting. It felt Barbara, who's the product manager on it, likes to describe it as like it's like holding up a sign at a rock concert. It's one of those things you just feel really excited. So the way Super Chat works is the more money you spend, the more your live stream, the longer your live stream message stays up. So if you pay $1, you get it's just a different color and it goes up at the same speed. You know, if you I think it's $5 gets you a minute, and then $100 gets you an hour, and $500 gets you 5 hours, and those are localized to your different currencies. So in the UK, it's £500. In different countries, it's not just a 1-to-1. They try and made it roughly comparable so that it feels about right.
And the cap is 5 hours, right?
Yeah, that's how long it can last at the moment. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is how it works. This is how you enable it. It's pretty simple. Basically, you go to youtube.com/features and then enable it under Super Chat. I would say even if you're not, even if you don't think that you're going to use it, I would just say enable it. It's worth it. Just in case.
YouTube.com/features, huh?
Yeah. So even if you think, oh, no one would ever, you know, I have a small channel, no one's ever going to give it to me. So I have it enabled on my channel, for example. And as I said, I have 6,000 subscribers. I did a 2-hour stream yesterday and I didn't get a single super chat. And I was very upset about it. But it's worth it just in case. You never know. Someone might stumble on your stream and be like, yeah, I'm going to give this guy $200. Why not? Yeah. And then you have to accept some language. And but then basically you get super chat. It's a little different if you're a part of an MCN. So yeah, these are the requirements. You have to have over 1,000 subs. You have to be 18. You have to be in one of those countries. We're working on more places. So we'll have updates there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
How are we doing?
I think we're good. I think questions are coming.
Okay.
I think we can kick off the next topic, which is why live streaming. No, that's it.
Why live stream?
Cool. All right. So let you go with.
Okay. So why live stream? So other than that sweet super chat money, and the fact that it's it's new, it's fast, it's lightweight, it's easy. Why should you do live? I mean, I feel like you guys are asking a lot of me, but sure. So we did a little bit of research. So one of my things about a year ago, when I first, or maybe a year and a half now, when we first started really looking into live streaming, was we were like, does it make sense for creators to experiment with this? And so we crunched the numbers and we found that live really helps your channel grow. We found that YouTube viewers watch 4 times longer on live streams compared to VOD. So you're getting, more of that sweet watch time. And obviously, you guys will know that our search and discovery systems love watch time. So it's a really key factor for us. And that's why channels that stream weekly have seen up to a 40% increase in new subscriptions. So it's a huge thing. So I would say this is the reason why you should be thinking about live. And that's why you should live stream.
Plus, it's a new way to engage your audience, right?
Yeah, it's a new way. It's light, it's fast, it's easy. You can be like Alex Wasabi and have it, take out a bit if you're, instead of having to daily vlog that day. There's so many reasons to live, but I would say that the main one is that it helps grow your channel. So it's definitely something to experiment with.
And build a different also relationship with your audience, right?
Yeah, no, totally. It's live is this. I mean, there's so many reasons. Live is this really intimate thing. It's as we're doing, we'll do later. It's a way to interact very directly with people, answer the questions.
It's very honest as we speak. Like everything is
no, totally. Like I can't edit real. All my ums and ers out of this stream, which angers me. Okay, let's do some production tips.
Yeah.
So all you need to live stream is a mobile device, right? But when you're thinking about this, to take your streams to the next level, you should be thinking about these 5 things: your device, your audio, your stability, your visuals, and your rehearsal. Okay, so set up the device. Now, 3 things here. The first is your data connection. And this sounds really obvious, right? Like if you can't stream if you don't have a data connection. But especially if you've been vlogging for a long time, this is really easy to forget. We've
heard some stories.
Yeah, we've heard some stories. So when we first gave this feature to the Saccone-Jolies at VidCon, the first thing they did, we put it on their phone. Like we were super excited about it. I was there with the product team, and then the first thing they did is they walked into a lift. And the product team were just there going, no, why would you walk into a lift?
Stop.
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty great. The other thing to know is that you should put your phone on Do Not Disturb. And the reason for that is because if you get you can put it on airplane mode with Wi-Fi, whatever works for you. Basically, you're trying to not have a phone call, because if you get a phone call, number 1, it's very distracting. But number 2, if you answer that phone call, it will crash your stream. That's not a bug in the app. It's just the way your phone works. And then finally, battery. So we like to say that let me look it up. So we like to say it's 1% of battery per 1 minute of stream. The other thing on data, just now that I've got it up, we like to say that it's about 10 megabytes of data per 1 minute of stream. So if you have a hefty data cap, you might be wanting to stream from Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know that the most important factor for good audio is your environment, right? So if you're right next to a train or something, you are probably not going to have the best audio.
Just a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Annabelle is asking if we can quickly go back to the last slide. I believe the last slide is really important. I think, is it this one?
This one or the summary slide?
I think it's a summary slide of the 3 things to
we will go. Oh, this one?
Yeah, I think it's
data connection.
Exactly. I think people want to make notes there.
Sure.
Okay. Let's just give it 5 more seconds.
No worries.
So people take notes, guys. It's really important.
I'll take a sip of water.
Okay, good. Perfect.
All right.
All right. I think we can kick it off again.
Okay. So consider your audio. So audio is one of those things that it's really important. And like the first thing people think when they think audio tends to be, I'll get a new shiny microphone. And I'm guilty of this myself. But like the single most important factor for good audio is your environment. So I've got a picture of John Green in that slide. And that's because John Green was making these videos a couple of years ago now, and people were like, "Oh, did you get a new microphone? Your audio sounds amazing." And he was like, "No." And then he didn't realize what it was, and it turned out that the cardboard boxes that he'd placed behind him, because he was signing a load of books at the time, were absorbing the echo that used to be in the room. So it's one of those things where if you go into the room and you listen, like try and find an environment that's really good acoustically. This is especially important if you're doing like music or anything like that. You can get an external microphone. You can plug external microphones into your phone. We even did a ridiculous stream the other day where we plugged an entire sound system, like a professional sound setup, including 5 mics and a boom mic and lav mics and wireless mics and all sorts of different things into a phone. You don't have to do that, but you can. And then finally, like wind. So a wind screen will reduce wind noise. You can get little ones that are designed to just slot on directly to your phone, or many external microphones will have them. Right, stability. So stability is one of those things that basically any distance that you can get from your hand, because if you're just holding your phone naturally, it'll just be very shaky. So if you have a selfie stick, that's awesome. This is a gimbal. And basically the idea is that it stabilizes the footage for you. So it's very, very useful.
Oh, this is at our old YouTube office, I remember.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's just a very useful thing. This one's relatively pricey. It's like $200. But I would say it's like, if you are going to do regular walking mobile live streams, this is the one piece of gear. Like everything else, the mics, everything else, like you can figure out. This is the thing that I would invest in if you're thinking about it. But as I said, you can do it with a selfie stick. And the final thing that you should think about is stabilizing the VOD. So you've got to remember that, which you can do in your YouTube settings at the end. It'll probably give you an alert that says, "We've detected your video is shaky." And you'll be like, "Thanks. I knew that, YouTube, but okay." But I would say, even if you've tested that feature before and it hasn't worked for you, test it on mobile live, because it tends to work very, very well on mobile live streams. Okay. Consider your visuals. So the one thing that we notice on live is the context is very important, because you don't want to be answering the same question of where are you, what are you doing, who are you, that kind of question over and over again. So if you can get your environment to answer some of those questions for you. So it's tough to see in the image, but that image was taken at Comic-Con, and she's standing right in front of the Comic-Con wall. And that meant that she didn't have to constantly be explaining, "Hey, I'm at Comic-Con and I'm interviewing famous people."
Context, yeah.
And then there's lighting. So you saw earlier that we have a little light here. We're using a ceiling light, and then we're using a little light just to create a little bounce. I would say they can't see.
Oh, right.
Audio only. I could have just let it go and no one would have known.
I like that.
Lighting, I'd say most of the time on your phone, lighting doesn't, you can get away with it. People will tolerate slightly worse. As long as your audio is good, people will tolerate slightly poor visuals in live streaming. And then finally, you can experiment with additional lenses. Again, unless you have very specific requirements. Some people like wide angle lenses. That image that I've got there was from when I was doing a live stream of the London Eye from our old office. And I was using a little telephoto lens so that I could zoom right into the people in the live stream, which is cool. And then finally, and this is the most important tip, do a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is it's very easy. You just select unlisted, you decide on your broadcast orientation, and then here's the key thing. Because most people, when they do a rehearsal, they click and they stream for about 10 seconds and they go, "Yeah, this looks good." And then they look at it and they're like, "Yeah, that looks good." Stream for about 5 minutes, which may sound like an incredibly long time, but think about how long you spend editing a video. This is something where, and all the little things that you fix or you change or that kind of stuff, this is one of those things that you have to get it right when you're live. So it's really, really worth streaming for about 5 minutes. There's a technical reason to stream for about 5 minutes, which is that the first opportunity that we have to lower your bitrate happens after about a minute. So if you've streamed for only 30 seconds, you think that the quality of the stream is going to be a lot higher than it is. The only other thing that you might notice if you stream for about 5 minutes is that if your phone starts to get hot, sometimes that can lower the quality too. So it's just worth testing it so that you have an idea of what your stream is going to look like. And then take a look at it on another device. I would say go get a cup of tea before you check it, just so that the stream can have the chance to process the whole way, either that or watch it live. Okay. And finally, if you're finding that you need a lot of additional gear, you might find it easier to explore a traditional live setup. So I mentioned earlier that we found a way to plug a fully operational sound system into a phone. That was ridiculous, and we were just trying to figure out what we could get away with. It probably wasn't the easiest way to do it. Desktop live streaming has been around for a long time, and it's awesome. Okay. So create strategy. We'll go through this pretty quickly because I want to get to your questions. The basic thing that you have to know is, why does this idea have to be live? The image I've got in the background there is like, I always imagine when I'm thinking about this, you know, when I'm in Trafalgar Square and it's freezing cold and I don't, you know, I'm like, I have to get to a thing. Exactly. It's just awful. You know, like, what is the thing that's going to make me take out my phone and go, oh, that person is live? And not only that, they have a cool idea that I have to watch now. You know, it's because the thing is, especially if you're doing VOD content already, like, your audience already kind of knows you a bit. They might have seen you do Q&As before. So I think the main instinct that people have is Q&As, but I can watch your Q&A later unless I really think my question is going to be answered.
So I think title is super crucial there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't figured out my title best practices yet. I think that descriptive titles in general tend to work better. But yeah, I think that if you can have, like, I almost think of titles, because it goes as a notification, I almost think your title should be like a text message to your subscribers.
A call to action.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, like so call me now is a great one. Or you know, play a game with me now, or you know, I'm surprising, or I'm surprising my girlfriend with a teddy bear. You know, anything which is like, if you don't watch this now, you're going to miss out and you're going to regret it. But yeah, in general, we think about streams as being like suspenseful, interactive, dynamic, you know, give you something that you've never seen before, or just a shared experience. And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. So you can play a game. So this was a stream called YouTuber Fights, which was basically a bunch of YouTubers in sumo suits fighting. And that worked really well because they were really short rounds, so that people can jump in and understand what's going on, even if they've only just caught in. The thing about live is that you don't control the context. So unlike VOD, where you get to control when people jump in, and you can say, hey, my name's blah, 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 and I am doing blah, blah, blah. It's just like what we were saying earlier about context. Anyone can jump in at any time, and you have to build for that in your title. Or your description. You can hold a competition. So this was a stream called Find Zach. He's streaming from somewhere in Los Angeles, and he was found in less than 45 minutes. Which was just amazing. Embrace the unknown. So there's a load of formats like unboxings that work really, really well live, because you and the audience are in the exact same position of not knowing what's going on. Let the audience interact. So you can vote for an outcome. What's inside this amazing stream? And they began it by saying, oh, vote on who's going to have to jump in the pool at the end of the stream.
So call to action again, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another call to action. Yeah, you don't have to do a call to action, but it's definitely a strategy that we've seen work. You can take suggestions. So Beardy Man did a stream called 1 Album Per Hour, where he took suggestions from the audience and kind of improv'd an entire music album together in a single hour, which was incredible. But something to think about. Can you let your audience interact with you through the stream in creative ways? And then finally, speak to the host, like the Unbox Therapy example we spoke about earlier. Call me now. Keep it dynamic. Now, there's loads of different ways. Basically, what you're trying to do is make sure that there is always something going on. And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. So Philip DeFranco does it in his streams by getting pre-production help. He has a member of his team pick out comments and really figure out what is the structure of this stream going to be, so that you know, oh, I don't like this news item, but I'm interested in the next one. And there's always, like, he's really, really good at signposting exactly where you are within the stream, so that you keep watching. Production help. So, I mean, this is a perfect example, right? Like, we've got Selvi here who's looking at comments and who's figuring out and all that stuff behind the scenes. And that is just invaluable. And then finally, again, we're also doing this in this stream. Having a co-host is really, really helpful, because again, they can be looking at comments. They can be just like riffing off you. They can be doing all these things that are really, really helpful. So Demo, I'd be lost without you.
Thank you.
Take your audience where they've never been to before. I'd say this is the weakest of the mechanics. It's a really hard one to get right, because you can go to the craziest, most beautiful beach in the world, and you'll go, hey, I'm at the craziest, most beautiful beach in the world. And people will go, great, now what? And if you don't have a now what, you're going to struggle. So Ben Brown did this stream called Live on a Boat in Rio. And it was great, because then they got caught in a storm.
Yeah.
So there was a narrative there.
So go live and embrace serendipity, basically.
Yeah, embrace serendipity, but also plan for serendipity. So
Yeah.
in the middle there, there's a stream where they were releasing turtles live.
Yeah.
And that's a stream where like there's already a narrative there because it's like Planet Earth, right? So you're going to watch and you're going to see, are the turtles going to make it to the ocean? Like there's like a narrative there, and that is incredibly powerful. So I would say hoping for a storm is probably not the best best solution, but when it works, it's great. You can definitely go to places that have a higher chance of those kind of dramatic moments. Yeah. And then finally, shared experience. I'm thinking about changing this at some point to like, people really enjoy countdowns. People really enjoy, so there was a stream last week where a giraffe was, I think it actually hasn't happened yet. I think
giving birth, right?
Yeah, giving birth, right?
Yeah,
so it's one of those things where it's like everyone is watching for that thing to happen. So I was talking earlier about the teddy bear stream, surprising my girlfriend with a teddy bear. I clicked on that stream and I'm like, well, I guess I'm here until the girl is surprised, until the girlfriend is surprised, because like I want to be there to see that thing with everyone. And that's the reason that people watch live sports, or esports in this case. It's the reason that people love reactions live. It's the reason that people love music performances live.
I'm just thinking of sports. When I watch sports, watching something live versus watching something after, I mean, it's a total different experience, right? It's just
totally.
It's like you feel like you're there, although you're not.
No, totally. And the social experience of watching it with a bunch of people, like the Oscars last night, right? Like watching it and seeing Twitter, and the difference between waking up this morning and finding out that and watching the Best Picture clip, on Reddit like everybody else. It's just way more disappointing, and you're like, I should have been there. And those are the kind of moments that you want. And then finally, like, consider a live stream idea that's similar to what viewers expect from your channel. Like if you're a gamer, find ways to do gaming, even if it's live action. If you're a musician, maybe think about music-y ideas. If your channel is about what's inside stuff, find a way to do that live. If your channel is about unboxing stuff, now that doesn't mean that you have to be limited to those things, but it can be very, very helpful to think about that as a starting point, because your viewers subscribe to you for a reason, and trying to give that to them can be very helpful. Like I would say live is probably not the best idea to launch something completely new. Okay, so what's inside, this is a perfect example of how they layered these elements together. These things don't have to be individual. So their stream, it was interactive, but it was also suspenseful, but it was also dynamic. They had two people in their stream together. They had this voting stuff. And then they also had the main mechanic, which was like, what is going to be inside that thing? I have to be there to find out. This is sports drink or body wash, which College Humor did, and again, it's dynamic and suspenseful. All right. So last section, and then we'll get to Q&A.
Perfect.
Cool.
Audience development then.
Yeah, so this is pretty simple. And this was kind of the first thing. This was the first slide that I ever kind of created when I was thinking about live. Promote your stream, like post it on your favorite social network, which of course is Google+. Be consistent. We find that people who do it every week or do it every day, like if you can communicate your upload schedule, that can be really powerful. The only thing I would say is like, if it's not every week or every day or every weekday, you're going to struggle, just because like, it's really hard to communicate. Like I go live every second weekend of the month. Like that's not like, we're not going to punish it from like an algorithm perspective, but it's just one of those things where, viewers are just going to find it really hard to be like, is it the second or the third weekend of the month? I have no idea. So try and have an upload schedule that is, or a live schedule that is really easy to communicate, so that you can say it in your channel banner. Matthew Santoro, if you check out his channel these days, he has two things on his banner. He says live at this time every day, turn on notifications, which are really, really important. And then finally, use your VOD. So, either leave your VOD public, or, set clips, or find ways to use your VOD to promote it. Or you can even do, Gen X Pen is really smart. She does a weekly vlog, and she always makes sure that she mentions the fact that she goes live every week, in that vlog. She's like, I'm here at my live stream, just so that people know it exists. When I first started talking about this was about 9 months ago. Most people didn't know about the bell. It was still pretty new. Now I feel like everybody knows about it, but it is so, so important. Like the bell is probably the thing that you have most control over as a creator. It's the lever that you can tell people to do. And we've seen notifications, like people who've got a lot of their audience to ring the bell. Like not only do their live traffic start going up, but all their other traffic as well. So live can be a really, really useful carrot because you can be like, hey, make sure you ring the bell so you don't miss out on my amazing live streams. And at the same time, they're also getting a notification whenever you make a VOD. So you can do that in VODs, you can do that during streams. We've seen people have really good success by saying, hey, make sure you ring the bell after they make a really good joke. And you can do it on social media. And then here's my last tip. Start your stream when viewers join. So we've been experimenting. So notifications can vary, right? So once you start your thumbnail, once you've uploaded your thumbnail, you've taken that, we're changing the ways that we do notifications all the time, but they can take a little bit of time to go out even after you've started your stream. They don't go out immediately, necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's worth just taking a look at how many people are in your stream, and then starting when viewers join. So just before we got here, we were looking at the numbers of people, and we were noticing about 3 minutes to, we were like, oh, there's not that many people in here. But starting at like past, everybody was here. And so we started on time. If we were noticing, oh, well, there's not as many people here as we were expecting, we might have started a little bit late, just to make sure that as many people as possible really get in at the start. And then finally, all your analytics stuff works basically the same way live. You just have to filter for live and on demand. And then there's this really helpful thing called the live streaming tab, where you can see peak chat messages and concurrence. And yeah, that is everything. I'm going to switch us to stop screen sharing.
Perfect.
Here we go.
We're back. Okay.
We're back.
So first of all, thanks to everybody for being so active in the chat. We have it here. We can see there was a lot of positive comments. I read I think more than twice. Somebody said, "I can't wait to try this out."
Good.
And I think someone said, "I can't wait to get to 1,000 subscribers to try Super Chat."
Super Chat's amazing, guys.
So let's.
Well, we're racing you because we'll see if we lower the requirement before you get there. So we're in a race.
Accepted, yeah. So for the first question, actually, I wanted to take a question from Kate's Adventures, who asks sort of what the first tip would be for someone who's never done live streaming before.
Ooh, good question. I mean, we've just done a 1,000,001 tips, so it's tricky. The first tip with never someone, I think it's testing. I think testing is really important, and it's something
the format, you mean, or
just doing experimental streams and seeing what they look like, and in the same way, like especially if you already have an existing audience. Like you don't want your first, you don't want your first stream with all the fumblings and all the technical things. Like so I would say just experiment with it. If you have a second channel, that can be a safe place to start out. So I'd say test.
Cool. And actually, I think there's just a positive comment here coming from the RH experience who said, we definitely want to start making live videos. This has really inspired us. So it's a shout out to you.
I'm trying to figure out who's behind the RH experience account. Is it Connor or is it anyway? Say hi.
Someone else. There was also a question just for clarification. Someone asked about the bell. Can you tell us what the bell does exactly, just in 30 seconds, so we can go and?
Yeah, I can. So when you subscribe to a channel these days, let me show you.
I'll go through some of the other questions in the meantime.
Yeah, totally. So when you subscribe to a channel, I'm going to have to find a channel I haven't subscribed to. Oh no. I have to figure out who I haven't subscribed to. So we'll go Jenna Marbles. Love her content. Haven't subscribed to her yet. What you'll do is you'll click subscribe, right? But then a little notification comes up that says tap the bell to get notifications about all new videos. So I can tap that button, and then I will get a push notification on my phone that says, hey, Jenna Marbles just uploaded a video, or Jenna Marbles just uploaded a live stream. And you can tap the bell. You'll notice it's right next to the subscribe button on desktop as well. And it is like incredibly powerful because, as we know, 60% of traffic comes from mobile, right, on YouTube. Yeah. So it's incredibly powerful. If you can have 60% of your viewers basically get a text message from you that says, hey, I've uploaded a video, that is really, really powerful. Yeah.
So make use to use the bell in the right way.
Yeah, just encourage people to use the bell.
Of course, also select the creators you want to be notified with the most. So don't go and get the bell of
Hey, if you want to do that, you totally can. So we do frequency capping on it.
Yeah, that's
So basically, if you do bell 1,000 channels, we might decide, do you really want to watch 1,000 channels? And we'll look at how often you are engaging. It's personalized, so we'll look at how often you're engaging with certain channels, and are you clicking on those notifications? Because basically, what we don't want. We want to make sure that the bell is useful for you, because we notice that people tend not to unring that bell, for example.
Yeah, I think there's a question here which several people have asked. I think the same thing came up in the creator community. from someone called Ashram, and then also Mikey Dawes, Evidence Records, and a number of other creators.
Do you know what you're doing right now, by the way?
They asked.
Wait, quickly. So what Danilo is doing right now is called heroing. And it's really smart because basically by saying your names in the chat, you'll feel like, oh yes, I did ask that question, and I'm amazing. And that's something you're more connected to the stream.
That's something whoever does a live stream should actually be doing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
like
hearing
saying
your
people's
audience.
names. Yeah,
totally. Because that again brings some connectivity.
Yeah, totally.
To the relationship, right? So what these people ask is a question which says, when will live streaming come to all creators, not over 10K subscribers?
So yeah, that's a great question. So live streaming is available to everybody. I think it's everybody. It's either everybody or almost everybody. I think there is like 100 subscriber cap or something. That may not even be a thing anymore. I have more than 100 subscribers, so I don't know. Braggy brag. But basically we're working on it, but like already desktop live streaming is available to everybody. Mobile live streaming, we're still figuring it out. It's a very new tool, and we're figuring out a bunch of things for it. We want to get it in the hands of everybody because we think it's amazing, and we're working on it.
Follow-up questions on that from Loma Pegado. When I go live, will it automatically notify all of my subscribers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you go live, it will not automatically notify every one of your subscribers. It will notify, so if they have pressed the bell, or if we have noticed that they have a high, what we call affinity for live. So if they've watched a lot of live content and a lot of your content, and we think this person would probably be interested that you went live, we might well send them a notification. And we're playing with those levels. So it's, for example, not true that every single person who presses the bell will get every single notification from your channel. They'll get a lot of them, but if they press the bell, as Danilo mentioned, for 1,000 channels, they might not get it. So it's not perfect. We also look at how many times they've got a notification that day. So if you've gone live 5 times that day, we might stop sending push notifications. But still, it's worth having push notifications. Like, it's worth having them ring that bell for your channel.
Cool. A question that was pre-collected that somebody submitted via the form that we sent to you guys was from Amber. And Amber asked, do you have any plans to introduce moving GIF type thumbnails for live stream videos saved to VOD?
Yeah, totally. So this is, I think this is still one of those things that we're doing as a 1% trial, the moving GIF thumbnail things. And they've sort of been on and off. I actually don't know anything about them specifically, but the way I'll kind of use this to answer a question about live VODs more generally. Live VODs work the exact same as normal VODs. So if we are trialing a new thumbnail feature, it will work the same way on your live VODs as it does in your regular VODs.
Great, thanks for that. Jack T, who also pre-submitted this question, asked, is there a maximum for live streams and maximum for what will be recorded in VOD? So I think he's talking about minutes here or hours.
Yeah. So I believe it's 12 hours for the amount that a VOD can record. So if you record long, and that's it's actually not, it's interesting because it's actually not a it can be a little longer or a little shorter than that. And the reason for that is because it's actually not really an hour limit. It's a size limit. So if your stream is super high quality, you might notice that it's a little bit less than 12 hours. But if it's a little bit, if it's super high quality, you might notice it a little bit more.
Cool. Then Piotr Marszalkowski, I hope I pronounced
it right. You just gotta commit to it, and no one will think about it.
Marszalkowski, I think I pronounced it right. Piotr, so what Piotr asks is, can you plan mobile live streams in advance the same way that you can plan ahead YouTube live events?
Yeah, so you can't do it quite the same way that you can with a YouTube live event. So right now, the way we did this event, we had it scheduled in advance, and you could click that link and it would give you a countdown. We're working on that for mobile. We haven't got there yet. We're working on it though, and we see it as a cool thing. Right now, you can go on to, so when you get to the thumbnail stage, you take the thumbnail and then you can press the share link, and you can share that link out on social media. And that and we've done experiments where that link, you basically, as long as you don't close the app down, and it will even give you an error message, it will say, are you sure you want to abandon this stream? So basically that link will persist. And then if somebody clicks on that stream when you're not streaming yet, it'll say, this live stream is starting soon. So you can even do that the night before. We've had people do that.
Quick follow-up question on this one. Before there's also some questions around the quality. But first, Toby Lotta, a do-it-yourself Kinderkanal, I believe he's from Germany, considering the name, is asking, can you show pictures during mobile live streaming?
Yeah, so you can't do picture in picture, but what you can do, and it's just because we wanted to keep it super simple. There are two ways. So this kind of gets us in. What you can do is you can stream from the YouTube gaming app, and then you can do mobile capture from that. So if you want to do that, the other thing that you can do, which is actually really nice, is so say for example, earlier I was we've seen people have little FaceTime. Like they'll literally have like a phone with FaceTime on there, and it's just like they have another person, and that actually can give a really nice like, or they'll like show a they'll stream their laptop or something like that.
Just need a second device basically.
Yeah, and that can give a really nice like lo-fi element to your stream. College Humor, if you check out their streams, a lot of what they'll use is they'll have like a TV, like a flat screen TV in the background, and then they can put whatever graphics they want. And I actually think that's a really nice way to do it.
Okay, there's a question here around the quality of live streams. So Attractions Magazine asked, we did a live stream and it wasn't in HD, so high definition. Is that an option we have to turn on? We streamed on mobile connection and the live stream is still on our site at only 480p.
Yeah, so so it can go up to 720. And we look at how good your quality is. I would say as a general rule, mobile data connections aren't strong enough to support 720. So what you can do is you can either go onto like traditional Wi-Fi, or you can get a portable Wi-Fi hotspot. So we use this. We did a stream out in the desert, Vasquez Rocks outside of LA, and we brought 3 different mobile hotspots with us, and then we tested each one of them to see which one gave us the best signal strength. So that can be, if you really want to go live and get the ultimate best quality, that's how we've done it.
There's an interesting question here for those of you who are gaming creators. So I know actually recently one of our creators here in the UK, Conan Pizza, he highly enjoys mobile live streaming and also super chat. And there's a question here from Ranish Chahwan, who's asking any tips specifically for mobile gaming when it comes to mobile live streaming.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's interesting. We've just like, so there's another strategist who works on gaming. So I don't predominantly work on gaming. Most of these tips, especially in the creative strategy section, work exactly the same way. A lot with gaming, you get a lot of stuff, and you maybe don't realize it. So for example, I was playing a game called Quiplash last night with my audience, and that game has relatively short rounds. It has interactivity. It has suspense because you don't know who's going to win. It has like all of these things just baked in automatically. But it's worth thinking about, how am I doing those things, and can I add more of them in some ways? That might help your game selection as well. Is there a way for people to interact with you while you're streaming? Is there a way for them to influence the outcome of the stream? Those kind of things. So that would be what I'd say. Everything else, like the production stuff, all that kind of stuff, are exactly the same.
There is, of course, it's very important for us that you can use this feature, right? And there were 2 questions here regarding the usability on iOS and Android. So MK, Me Lab, and Romanis Realm.
I'm so glad you're reading the names. I would be
actually dying. Someone else asked about it as well. So I apologize if I have missed that, but there were 2 people asking that. So the question is, my iOS device has live, but not my Android device. Is it just me, or is it a problem with Android?
What it will be, so what I would do is update your app.
Update your app,
yeah, that will be almost certainly the issue. Oh, it could also be if you're on a very old Android device, it could also be that.
All right.
I think you have to have like, I have to look it up, but it's like 6+ or something.
Okay. So update your app. Nisha Davdra is asking, do we still need to take care when streaming outdoors within regards to copyright and music, in example, shopping or events? This is a tricky question.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the way we do have Content ID, and the way it works on live stream is if it matches to your audio, what it will do is it will mute. You'll get an alert that basically said, hey, we've detected copyrighted material in your audio, and it will mute your stream until we detect it. That's gone away.
Okay, this is awesome. You're dropping one answer after the other. I'm really excited, guys. If you're enjoying this, actually give us a thumbs up in the chat so we know that Ali
smash that like button
is doing an awesome job. Also, again, please, this is just a reminder, please give us your feedback. We will be sharing the link in the chat again right now.
We use that link to get promoted, so please, that's very helpful.
We just need to know how we're doing and also how we can do things better next time.
That is true. That is true.
So, yeah, your voice matters, so let us know how it works. Next one from Romanis Realm, who's asking us, despite I meet all the criteria, I guess the person is relating to mobile live streaming, not necessarily super chat, I can't find the mobile mobile button, indeed, on your app. Do you know why this might be?
That they can't find the mobile
button to go live.
Yeah, so this happened to you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can explain it if you want.
So I tried via my my personal account, where I have I think 6 subscribers. So that obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
I then tried with my corporate account, and that did work, of course.
So basically, we whitelisted all of the YouTube accounts, and then so basically, there's 2 possible reasons that works with most people. One is you're using the wrong account. If you're like me, I have 5 different accounts, and only my one that has been specifically whitelisted works for it. So anyone with over 10,000 subscribers can get it automatically, but you have to make sure that you're using the right account. The second thing is if your app isn't up to date, that can be a thing. You can also go to the help center. There is a article there that has the exact, because there's 1 or 2, like as I said, if you're using an old Android device, or if you're using if something's not up to date, or like if you're using a Windows phone or something like that we haven't built yet, that's just where we are at the moment. But I would say almost certainly it's because you haven't updated your app.
This is great, Ali, really. So there's also one question here. I think we covered this before, but this person might have entered the stream a little later.
Okay.
So Dan Surprise is asking, hi, if I'm filming live with my mobile phone, someone calls me, a friend, girlfriend, whoever, what happens to my stream? Does it get disrupted?
So your stream will crash. So don't do that. I actually don't know, because we had it so very early on with Alex Wasabi. You can actually find it. He answered a call and then had to go back and recreate the stream. I actually don't know if we've changed the system now so that you can go back into the same stream. I'm going to follow up on that. But basically, don't try it. Put your phone to do not disturb, or put it with Wi-Fi or airplane mode with Wi-Fi on, or like anything like that, just so that you can block those phone calls from coming in.
I think a question also here that you mentioned already from La Mystique Sketchbook is, when is the best time to live stream? And depends on the channel, or what?
So it depends on the channel. So as with your VODs, look at your analytics and see what countries are represented. Classically, with live, they follow like TV-ish hours. So if you think about peak time for TV, it's like 6 to 9, 10 p.m. at night. Now, obviously, that's going to vary. So if you have a heavy audience in the UK, you might think, oh, I'll broadcast at 10 p.m. Because that's going to be 6 p.m. in New York or whatever, 5, 6 p.m. So that, but it's one of those things. I would say the main thing there is consistency rather than like exactly when you go live.
So guys, we have about 5 more minutes, maybe 6, 7, depending on how active you are. So I'm going to go and ask you one more question that we pre-collected. In the meantime, guys, if you have any lasting questions, please add them to the chat. This is the right time. So Ronan sent us a question ahead of the live stream asking portrait versus landscape. First of all, what do you suggest? Follow-up question that was asked by Rick actually was, can you switch from portrait to landscape during the live stream? And I believe there was also a question around, can you switch from camera to selfie mode? So
I'll answer the third question first. Yes, you absolutely can switch from camera to selfie mode. It's the top right-hand corner of the thing. There's just a flick. You can also, on iOS, we also have a bunch of crazy filters, and there's a bunch of other things I didn't show you in the app. Basically, go play with it. It's awesome.
Have fun.
Yeah. And then portrait or landscape. I'm old-fashioned. And I really like landscape, but it's up to you. If you find that you have a really a big mobile audience, they might prefer portrait. It's really up to you. It's up to your audience what you think would look good. But you can do either. You can't change it once you go live at the moment. This is something we're working on it. So when this was like 9 months ago, when we first started, getting feedback, we found that was like the #1 creator error when they use this thing, was that they would start streaming in portrait, and then they would turn it around, and then they would have a portrait video that was on its side. And their audience would be like, I am confused and unhappy about this. And it turns out that it's one of those things. So I chatted to the engineers about this, and they were like, yeah, we have to like rebuild our entire infrastructure in order to make this work, which apparently they're doing, which is awesome. But yeah, for now, you have to just make sure that you are broadcasting in the orientation that you want to broadcast in.
And I think also around privacy, there was one more question from Vanessa, which she posted, I believe, in the creator community, which asked, how do you make live streams private in order to begin testing the feature? And also, can privacy be changed during the live stream? I don't think so, right?
That's a good question, actually. So the first one is really easy. So how do you do a test that's private? Just do an unlisted stream from your phone. On your mobile device, you cannot change the whether the stream is public from, so an unlisted link, just for the uninitiated, basically means that you can send it out on Twitter. You can, like, it is private unless you give it to someone.
Unless you have the link. Yeah.
Exactly. As for if you can change it, you might be able to from desktop. If you went into your computer and you went into the live event, you might be able to. I actually haven't tested that. So I would be interested. I actually don't know the answer to that. So that's a good question.
Great. We will actually post this answer in the creator community. So make sure to check out the creator community. Probably tomorrow we'll follow up on that and leave it there.
If you can beat us to it.
Yeah.
By doing a test.
You can please, if you can please post the link to the creator community in the chat. We'll have the answer there. Yeah. Okay, 2 more questions, guys, because we're running out of time. Before I will ask you a question as well, Ali, if you may. Oh, no. So David Perelman is asking, most of the live streams are short. Will this hurt channel statistics when you upload short videos? Also, I know you can keep them private after the live stream is finished, but still ... What do you think?
So I think I understand that question. So it's interesting that you say that they're short, because most of the live streams I've seen have been sort of 15, 20 minutes at least. It's interesting that you say that they're short. I want to count what kind of videos you make. Because often lives tend to be longer than VOD content just because they're unedited. So that's interesting. But as a general rule, this is interesting because normally I get the question the opposite way around, like how will these longer videos affect my channel watch time? And the answer is, so I'll answer it for a normal channel. For normal channels, because live videos are longer and because live naturally gets 4 times the watch time of normal videos, they tend to do really well for your channel watch time. The only caveat to that is you have to make sure that they match your creative strategies, making sure you're implementing good live streams. Bad live streams will not get watched. I probably shouldn't say bad, mediocre. That's worse. So that hopefully that answers the question. Basically, it's good. You don't have to worry about it.
One last question by Somit Bhattacharya. I think.
Well done. Again, I am super glad.
Can we use the rear camera for mobile live streaming?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Yes, you
can. And in fact, if your rear camera is a better quality than your front-facing camera, you should use that one. Yeah, especially at night.
Fantastic. Okay, now I have one question from my side, and then literally we go to the last one, which is submitted by the creator community. Cool. Ali, you talked to us before that you watch a lot of mobile live streams. What is your favorite stream you have seen recently?
Ooh,
I'm challenging you now here.
Yeah, no. So I just saw a stream earlier where it was these 2 guys fishing. This was last week. It was these 2 guys fishing, and then they get a $50 super chat. And then they catch a fish, and then one of them jumps into the water, and all of that happened within about 45 seconds. And to watch that live, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. But I think the streams that I really enjoy are the ones, I enjoy 2 types of streams. One is like the types where it feels like you're hanging out with the person. And then the other ones I really enjoy when it feels like everybody has to watch because of that thing that's going to happen.
Okay, now I'll leave you with that one really interesting question, which was actually submitted. Sorry for correcting myself. So Miriam Roberts asked, are you ready for this? Are smartphones the future of YouTube videos?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a very good question. They definitely play a part.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's tricky because definitely we want to make it as easy as possible for people to upload. And smartphones are very easy. I think it depends on how, because smartphones are getting better and better. I think it depends if there's another DSLR revolution, essentially. Because DSLRs, if you look at them compared to phones, aren't they don't have the social features. They don't have a lot of the things that make phones great. So I wonder if somebody is going to figure out a DSLR phone combination that solves a lot of these problems. I think that, the problem with phones is that they're never going to have the glass that, like the lens that your DSLR has, right? So I think they're never going to be as good, but does that matter? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we focus on mobile does not mean that we do not focus on desktop, right? They're both equally important.
The great thing about mobile is that it's good enough.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people really like about it, because ultimately the thing that matters is the content.
Yeah, it depends. Like if you're creating content to go directly on VOD where editing plays a huge role, or if you're trying to share something more on the original side that happens as we speak, then mobile live streaming is your way. But definitely try both. I really hope that we're a little over time, but I'm really excited because there were so many questions.
Yeah.
I think you handled them like a rock star. So high five for that, Ali. But look, it's been absolutely awesome to see the engagement. I really hope most of you will try mobile live streaming. As Ali said, if you are not there yet, try to get those remaining subscribers to get there, to get Super Chat at 1K and mobile live streaming at 10. But look, guys, thank you so much again for having joined in today. It's very important for us that once again you share your feedback with us. You let us know how it went. We always listen to the feedback we get. So yeah, be loud and clear. Let us know how you liked it. We'll answer the remaining questions that we were not able to cover today in the creator community tomorrow. So tune in back there to follow up on everything. Thanks again. Danilo, Ali, goodbye from London. Take care, guys. Keep sharing.
And now the awkward moment where I click the button.